you got some liquor in there?
No.
That
Dog. Excuse me, brothers. I feel like it's been such a minute. We got to get the rhythm back, fellas. The Dogs Them podcast is back after a nice little 2-month hiatus. Had to get a few things on board, but we are back, fellas. What's up? I feel like the audience misses us.
Ooh, man.
Yo, it's good to be back, man. You know what I mean? Get back on the airwaves. Talk about some good shit that's been going on. You know, the last 2 months there's been a lot going on. So we got some good shit to talk about today. Easy, what up, man? You quiet over there?
Yeah, man. What's good, bro?
You rush? You good?
I'm in a little, not really a rush, you know. Yeah, I got a job.
Got anywhere to go?
I'm employed since last time we met.
Congrats, my guy.
A little more growing up now.
That's what I'm talking about, boss.
DZ, talk to him real quick.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be back, man, and definitely push the culture forward, man, and talk about the topics that we got for the fans.
Always. I'm a little upset we're missing the World Cup game right now. Senegal, another African nation, holding it down. Africa. One time.
Nigga, that's a DVR. You just record that shit. 2018.
Don't mess me up like that. But fellas, so listen, the NBA draft took place on Thursday. I feel like we can have like an open forum, literally about what were our thoughts, but that can go on forever and ever. So I kind of want to pose this question: the top 5 out of the 7 picks were big men. Are we witnessing like a return of the big men, or is this like the new way to beat Golden State, or it doesn't even matter?
I don't necessarily think it's a return of the big man. I think DeAndre Ayton was just a time thing, but I think more teams are trying to be versatile and just get like longer plays that can create for themselves and whatnot.
I would definitely say it's a new age of the style of players that people are looking for. You see Porzingis, Embiid, Giannis, Cat. Those are big dudes who could do so much on the court where, like, that was kind of like a unicorn. You only see one in very few players who could do that. And I forgot to mention Anthony Davis, too.
Are we talking about big men, or are we talking about, like, just, like, forwards?
Like
big men, when you say big men, is that like a center?
So listen, like big
Power
men
forward
now,
center, right?
Yeah, like power
Yeah.
forward. And
Power
these guys
forward
are like
center?
all 6'10".
Yeah, they're like 7
like-
feet, though. All of them are 7 foot.
Yeah,
I feel like power
Ayton.
forwards are more small forwards now. I feel like that power forward is more of a, is a
how
forward now, and the center is a big
the
man.
game has been trending towards small ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, 6'10" is big.
Yeah, the question
These-
he was.
DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Jarnell Jackson.
They're going to play what position? Well,
Like
what is
4?
Marvin Bagley playing?
I feel like he'll play like the
Jackson.
4 or the 3 kind of. But still, like, even a power forward, that's still a big. You know what I mean? Like,
Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba's still a big. I just think that those kind of players stretch the floor out now, and like you see what they could do. Every team wants one of those players.
Yeah, I think big man's just like a quarterback in football. I mean,
Whoa,
you know what I mean?
quarterback.
Quarterback, where it's like you can't teach height. You know what I mean?
You don't think the point guard's a
So
quarterback?
nah, I'm just saying more on his point where he's like
Also,
three
Wendell
out
Carter,
of the
sorry.
4 people. I guess you were saying at the top
5
5.
out of the top 7 picks. So they were
big men.
DeAndre Ayton went to Phoenix, Marvin Bagley went to the Kings, Jaren Jackson went to Memphis, Mo Bamba went to Orlando, and Wendell Carter went to the Bulls.
Where it's like, yo, you can't teach height. You got someone that's 6'10". I mean, 6'10", 7 feet.
Yeah.
You can't teach that.
can't
so
teach that.
That's the reason guys like that are always gonna go big in draft.
And
Just
that's to your point too. That's why Michael Porter Jr. was so hyped up. They were like, he's a 6'10"
Compare him to KD.
KD.
like
You know what I
Giannis.
mean? Like that's a on average 6'10" coming in the league. That's a power forward.
Straight up.
Straight in the
Now you
paint,
putting the ball
back
on
to the
floor, and you
back
can
to the
shoot.
basket, setting screens, getting rebounds. Now
Big
they're
facts.
looking for them to stretch the floor, hit the 3, space it out. Like you know,
Is this the way to beat the Warriors?
Most definitely, man. I mean, I would say.
Don't flip flop now.
I would say you got to do something different for the Warriors. If you try to play their game, you're definitely going to lose.
Right.
So that's why I like the way, some teams are going to old school basketballs, get some big men and slow the game down. I think I like DeAndre Ayton.
Versatile.
No.
Like, I think the Phoenix Suns are going to be a good team going forward. Think about the players that they got, that they drafted and that are already on the team right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be exciting to watch, and I'm excited to see how they do play.
I think the game's getting faster. I think big men are going away. I think that this draft just had some talented big men, but I think the game is going a lot.
Yeah, but
faster.
I
Think
also
about
think
it.
like you gotta
And I
you
think
gotta
Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Carl
Yeah.
Anthony, KP, the guys he mentioned, like those guys are now
Okay.
like, wow, we
You want
need that on
that
my
to be a
team.
centerpiece of your
But the
team.
teams that are
Davis.
consistently in the finals, they don't have a prominent big
KD
man.
is original 7-foot guard.
KD's
Y'all
the-
keep forgetting, man.
But I
That's
also think,
original-
like-
just like
that's
what you
original
just said, though.
7-foot
The
guard
teams
right
that are
there.
in the finals, yeah, he's a guard. They don't have a prominent big man that's like.
Yo,
throwing in the
realistically,
post.
But like,
though,
think about the
but-
Warriors
yeah.
before.
You know what I'm saying?
The game is not necessarily post ball anymore, but these bigs, they're technically bigs. They can do
They're
everything.
not technically bigs. Though.
They
So
are
if I'm
busy. You're
7
7
foot, I'm
feet
not a
tall. You're
big.
Yeah.
still a big boy.
Yeah,
Okay,
No
but
matter what,
what
if
I'm
you're playing,
saying, though,
if you're
I
playing
think a
1 through
big is
5, you're
someone
still a
that plays
big.
a center though. That's how I see it. I see it.
The
as someone
game
that
is
gets the
low key
point.
positionless now.
Yeah, it is.
The way the
Yeah.
Warriors.
So
have
then why
made
we
it-
call them bigs?
Because they big.
So they're just big men.
Yo, Beezy.
I just think
Yo,
when you
Beezy,
say
shouldn't be
if
that
you
big.
line if you
When you
line
say
them up on the
big man-
court, if you line them up, the 5 players,
I
you're gonna
got
go
the big
from
man.
I got the biggest dude over here
I feel- no,
to
I
the
understand it.
smallest dude over
I
here.
think
understand
I
that.
think
I
the point they're
understand
trying to
that. I
make
understand
is that they're so big where it's like you shouldn't be able to be that athletic and be able to do those things at that size.
I see what you're saying. You're just
Understand. Yeah, I'm
pigeonholing
saying-
bigs into get the ball on
Get
the
the
block.
that's a
Shaquille
big
O'Neal.
man.
But
Charles
the game's
Oakley.
changed.
changed. The game's changed. The
You
big
shouldn't be
Alright, then.
6'10" and be able to do
Alright,
that
then.
though. That's
Exactly.
the point. That's the point
exactly.
they're trying to make though.
No, you shouldn't be 6'10" and be able to do all this shit that KD's doing. So
Shouldn't?
he doesn't play like a big man, does he?
He
Look
doesn't
at Joel.
play like
Joel
he
Embiid is a
is.
center.
Joel Embiid
But
is
like,
a center,
who's-
but he's amazing. He's
But
like
he
he's
plays-
a
But you
one
ain't
that
gonna
plays
have
like
the
a
point
guard,
guard
though.
guard
He has a
KD
guard
though.
play
You know what
still.
I mean?
Obviously
Carl
not, but
Anthony
what I'm
Towns.
saying is that when you say big man, like, do you think of someone that backs down in the post and gets all your boards and, and
Nah,
Straight
paint?
size.
I think
When you
Straight
say
size,
big man,
nah.
you don't think that? It's
I
just
Nah,
think
straight
it's
size?
just-
because
straight
KP's
size.
KP's a big man, and he
Chris
does-
Stapps?
Yeah, Chris Stapps is a big.
I would. He plays like a big too, though.
Nah,
No,
he
he
does.
He plays like someone that
He
can
is
shoot.
not back to the
He
basket.
plays that.
Nah,
He's a
he's
slasher.
stretchy.
He's face
He's a
forward. He's
slasher.
going
Yeah.
top of the key, trying. That's the
He doesn't
problem
back
in this
down.
game.
KD
He
doesn't
doesn't take a book
KP
from
doesn't
Dirk's
back up.
handbook. Get to his spot and shoot over everybody when you're 7'3". He doesn't do that necessarily. I just think the new age of the NBA, you got to have these versatile bigs that can guard, a 1 through 5 that can guard, switch off on the pick and roll, and you don't necessarily have to be back to the basket to be a big nowadays.
Cool.
You
What
know?
about this draft though? What was your surprise pick of the draft?
To be honest, it wasn't a surprise pick. I was honestly surprised to see how far down Michael Porter Jr. went, but that just goes to show how
Yeah.
bad his medical reports are.
They said he
Because
might not play this season.
He might not even
Can I
play
just
this
say,
season.
when the Knicks were up and he was on the board and they picked Kevin Knox, I went outside. I looked up in the sky real quick and I saw it and I said, "This team is retarded."
nah, actually, but nah,
I
realistically,
convinced myself.
realistically,
team
me being a Knicks fan,
is
I wasn't mad.
retarded.
I wasn't mad at the pick because we need immediate like action. You
Kevin
can't.
Knox is immediate action.
But I'm saying you draft somebody who doesn't play
point,
next
B.
year. You
We're
you
not
draft
gonna
somebody.
be good.
But
Why
either
won't you just take Michael Porter Jr.?
Facts.
We're not going to be good. Let him sit. Let him
Take
get
it
So,
back.
healthy.
I
so
hate
no,
your
no.
point.
But let me go to your point as to why the Knicks, because he didn't provide like his second
His health,
medical
yes,
report
obviously.
to the Knicks.
I
So they
still
don't
would've
have
took
any.
him.
They didn't have any
Strategically-
confidence. Like strategically, it's
you're 100% right
Yeah.
in your point. But the Knicks, it's like year after year after year. It's like strategically, we made the right pick, but no, you passed up on Michael Porter. You passed up on Paul George. You
Yeah.
passed up
Donovan
on
Mitchell.
You passed up on.
You
almost
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I
It's
think-
like we
I think-
always pass up on the best.
I think
Dennis
me
Smith
just,
Jr.
we do.
me just
The
being
smart pick.
being a realistic Knicks fan now, I don't even give a fuck anymore when they draft somebody
Yeah.
because I just know that the next year is gonna be a whole bunch of different stories of
This
drama.
team is retarded.
But I am excited just to see what Kevin Knox will do. So
Okay, I guess we could leave it there. In exciting news, though, I know before the draft, the wave hit the PUMA resurgence. DeAndre Ayton, the first pick, Marvin Bagley, the second pick, and aforementioned Michael Porter Jr. all signed to PUMA, and Jay-Z has recently inked a deal as the president of the sports division. So, guys, are we witnessing the resurgence of PUMA in
No.
athletic? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I think so.
Fuck out of here.
All right, wait. So,
Like, think
All right.
about it, man. Like,
you
we're-
first.
I'm not wearing no Puna.
You Puma. You first. So why do you think it's the resurgence?
I mean, just look at the trend, the way fashion and everything is going. I mean, everyone is moving to joggers, and everyone's making the same shit. Like, everyone's, replicating what everyone else is doing. So, I mean, and we live in a world where a lot of people are smart as hell, where you put Jay-Z in there, you give him some momentum. I mean, they can make shit that's fire. Like, watching like a couple of months or something. I bet you Puma's gonna come out with some shit like, yo, actually that shit's kind of fire. Most of you guys
Puma.
might be like, yo, that's fire. I mean, you may not say I'm not gonna wear it, but I bet you inside your head you're gonna be like, all right, that shit is
If it's
hot.
fire, why wouldn't you wear it?
All right, so that's
like-
his point. Why do you think we don't?
Why do I
know?
not think so?
Yeah, correct.
Because there's a reason why Puma died out. When I think Puma, I think of Rihanna Fenty. And to be honest with you, DeAndre Ayton, when they were like, hey, why'd you sign with Puma, blah, blah, blah. He said himself, it was like, we're businessmen now. It's about getting that bag, blah, blah, blah. Which means that Puma threw the most money at him. He didn't go to Nike.
What do you think Nike does? What do you think Adidas
Nike
does?
doesn't throw the biggest bag. They got their
For
brand
the
name.
best players, they throw the
Obviously,
biggest
if you're a rookie, though. I'm saying if you're a rookie coming into the league.
All right.
Nike's not throwing you the biggest bag. Puma's going to come out and throw you that bag. He took that bag because it was the biggest bag, which I'm not mad at. But it's not no damn resurgence. You think I'm going to be wearing
I mean,
I think it could be a resurgence because honestly, Puma has been working with Rock Nation since 2013. So them dealing with Jay-Z, that's gonna.
but I also think it's like the sport.
I didn't get to finish my point, yo.
nothing.
Damn, I didn't even say nothing yet. Damn, this guy, he's tight today. BZO would say, but
Then his
reason,
gram stay off the gram, bitch. I'm on one.
yeah, but
Man, y'all not wearing Puma.
reason why I do got a pair of Puma suedes though. This shit's is fire.
Okay, those are the
But,
original
But
Pumas. Yeah.
the reason why I say Pumas could have a resurgence because a lot of times what they're really trying to do is off the court. They're really trying to build momentum off the court with what they're doing. So that's gonna drive a lot of people knowing that. I know Rudy Gay just signed to Puma too. Like there's a lot of veterans who are moving to this side too. With Rock Nation, they're able to capture an audience. Like that's just what they do originally. Like they're able to do that, and Jay-Z showed that he's been successful at doing that in multiple different avenues, from music to now sports with the Nets and now with this. So I think it's a good opportunity. Like now it's actually going to drive attention. Adidas actually had a resurgence when Kanye West, James Harden, and all those people signed to them and gave them that kind of support. So I think this could help.
And I also think I also think it's just the sports that people like. Like if you grew up and you was a track and field person, like you would love Puma.
As I was a track and field
a soccer
person.
person.
I did not love Puma.
You would love Puma.
I was.
Let me say why.
Because niggas had champs on during those times.
Like
because you had some champs
but
on.
like think of the fastest
man.
man in the world though.
Some
Like
sketches.
like Usain Bolt.
He rocks Nike.
Let me tell you why.
No, but he was sponsored by Puma.
Yeah. Let me tell you why I agree with Calvin's point that it's not a resurgence, because their whole campaign right now, it's the wave, join the wave. And we all know with waves, they come crashing to see. But they come crashing on the sand. But to that point, you mentioned Jay-Z's had other avenues where it's like joining this wave, like with the Nets and with Tidal. Just because you necessarily throw a name onto something doesn't mean it's going to be big. You know,
Explode.
he's
Yeah,
having
it's hype
issues
and
with
then
Tidal. Nets, he got up out of there. He got his a couple mil, but to him that's baby money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
But Tidal's doing that. Like, look, when they dropped the album, it just made it exclusive. Like, all right,
Correct.
only this select few people
I
have it.
haven't,
Which
to be honest, I haven't even
people.
listened to the
For a
card.
couple of days though. Like
Yeah, for a couple
now
of
it's
days.
on
Now it's
like,
on Apple,
to the
yeah.
point, it's just a wave, and it's just like, I'm not gonna be wearing no DeAndre Aytons. I'm not gonna be wearing no Marvin Bagleys on the court. Off the court, I saw that they got like a cool shirt, and some of those suede sneakers are type they ill, but for now, I don't see it going on and on and on and on.
But this is what, like, and I just got commentators. We live in a time of fads.
Yeah, which is a wave, so they come and go.
Everybody follows a wave. Like,
Which
now
come and
every
go, right?
nigga got a fucking
Yeah.
chest bag over their shit just to
I hate
show a
that
brand
shit,
shit. That
bro.
shit's corny as
I'm
fuck
good
to
with
me,
that, bro.
honestly.
Dumb
But
as
like
shit with that shit.
I'm so
nowadays, anybody that has that like considered cool, like that's
Fanny
like
pack
being
shit.
trendy and all that shit. So that's
the
what I
culture
mean.
vultures
It
go
may
see
it
that
may be
shit.
successful.
Hype
Like
beast.
you put something in at the right time and it catches some momentum. It could pick up for the time being. Because everything always has its like run. You know what I'm saying?
course.
Yeah.
Everything always has its short-lived run. Things that make it stand out is the longevity of it, if it's able to like sustain some shit. But
Yeah, I think
I feel where y'all coming from, because I don't want to wear no DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
I ain't wearing that shit.
I mean, just like Under Armour and Steph Curry's, I mean, they're still coming out with sneakers each year and different models, but I still haven't looked at it and be like, I'll
the
rock
kids
those.
are rocking the Currys though.
Kids are
they are,
rocking
though.
Currys.
They are, though.
And that's another thing.
We're like that's a good business plan for them, and I think more with the Puma thing, they're just trying to set a disruption, you know, where it's like
In the market real quick.
inside the market.
That's
So,
another thing. Like someone like Phil probably have insight on like what are the kids rocking, right? And like you see nowadays, kids come to your camp wearing Under Armour. Where when we were coming up, that wasn't even a thought.
It was Adidas.
It was Adidas,
Nike.
and like so you're like now I see kids when I'm coaching, I'm like, damn, they got those Under Armours,
like Paul George,
the
Kyrie
Paul George,
Irving,
Kyrie's.
or
So
Steph
you
Curry's.
just see how like different waves happen, and like potentially this could be the new wave that these kids jump on.
It's just gonna. Yeah, I don't want to stay too much longer on this. It could be tough though. It could be to offset what Nike's been doing, what Adidas been doing. It could be tough to beat that, but never counting out Hove.
Offset
Like that. On to more sadder news. Rapper XXXTentacion was tragically gunned down on Monday, June 18th, in his BMW while I think he was bike shopping.
Motorsport.
Very, very touchy subject. Phil, I kind of want you to lead off on this topic because you, in our group chats, you would always hit us up like, yo, listen to this X song, and I feel like you might have a little bit more insight to his following, his wave in the hip hop industry. So, what are your thoughts on the tragic passing of XXXTentacion?
Yeah, man. Obviously, this is very sad just to see how something like this happened, and just like the people around didn't do anything to help. Just recording his death, which just goes to show you where we're at right now in the world. People rather like make sure they capture a moment just for their own sake rather than helping someone's life.
Just say I was there.
Just to say they were there. So that's first and foremost. But also, it kind of reflects on like it leaves him like with a big legacy too. He was only 20 years young. His music was something that was kind of special because his last album, he crossed a lot of genres. So he showed his talent. He showed his ability to really make music. Y'all know Rollin' Peace. That was a big hit with Kodak. He had a few hits on his last album as well.
Question real quick: Is there a likeness to Tupac? Would you say?
I wouldn't go that far. Okay. Like I would not go that far. But I know younger kids now, they probably had that kind of like feeling towards XXX where like the younger generations may have had that attachment to Tupac. But he was also kind of like forward thinking. Just talking about shit that really wasn't on the radar of a lot of people and things that artists probably wouldn't talk about.
Yeah,
so
he was really different.
He was super different, so he stood out in that way. But just his death just kind of puts him in a different place now. Like his legacy will live on, and now that his interviews and like comments that he made in the past will kind of resonate to see like where he means.
There's a lot of awareness to be discussed on this, but BZ or Randall, you guys have any thoughts on the death?
I mean, the one thing that I just want to talk about and kind of harp on and build on what you were talking about, it was very just disturbing to me, like TMZ, like things like TMZ where and everyone's just videotaping, and you see, everyone's trying to be that one person that got the news, who has the best scoop, where it's like, it was just so disturbing to see all these people that are around his car just videotaping him, what it may be at the time of him being dead, where no one even did anything, they're just sitting there just looking at the kid that's dead and be like, oh, who's this guy that's in this expensive ass car in the middle of the street and no one's doing anything.
Yeah, that shit was weird.
Where like I think
you actually broke the news. You broke the news in our group chat. I was training and I saw like, what? The video was nuts.
Yeah, it was kind of surreal to see like video like that because like you watch the video. I feel like that video shouldn't even be allowed to be on the internet.
Right? They wouldn't do that with certain other people.
He's passed away. Like he's in the car, passed away, and like that's like on TMZ. Like so, that's just weird because I feel like you were about to say TMZ doesn't like post shit like that. And I don't know. I feel bad for the kid because he was definitely like a troubled kid. He did speak about death a lot. I'm a firm believer of energy.
Did he promote violence? Not necessarily. I don't want to say.
I don't say that
violence
he promoted violence. I think that he spoke about death a lot.
He did.
Not necessarily.
There was an interview he did a year ago where he kind of
he would always like proceed his death, like kind of be like, if I die, like when Fredo Santana died, he was like, when I die, pray Fredo on my funeral. He would always speak about death. I think he was fascinated with it. It just sucks.
Maybe played with it a little bit too much.
I don't know if I played with it. I think he just was one of those troubled kids that were just, I don't know, he's just different.
I remember when he first came out and it was him versus Drake. I remember he was, and it's not necessarily important, but he portrayed somebody that was like a
Tough
tough
guy
guy.
gangster. Yeah,
you know
but
what
at the
I'm
same
saying?
time, when that happened, he was like 18. Like he's
Good
such
point.
a young kid. How are you showing a dead kid? Like he's a dead kid in the car, and it's like all over media. It was just weird.
One thing I wanted to
It's really
touch on
weird.
too, as we were talking about, not just XXX death, but just about like the times that we in right now. You know, justice for
Social
Junior
media
as well.
wave.
I know
Yo,
you guys
that
saw that.
shit
I know you
was
guys saw that
disgusting.
that footage where it's like, yo,
The
the
15-year-old
people
kid
in the bodega, they have some
watched it.
fault to it too, because they watched a 15-year-old get fucking
just murdered.
get murdered and they ain't give him no help.
I
You know what I'm
see
saying?
that.
Like,
You
yo,
know,
it's
I wouldn't even watch it.
I wouldn't
if
even
were
watch
tell
it
you
because
the
that
truth.
shit really fucked with my head.
Bro, it was. Yeah,
But
it was. I wish I didn't watch it.
It just goes to show you that sometimes like your surroundings, like you really by yourself. You know what I mean? Like nobody in today's world, you can't really think that someone else behind you is gonna have your back.
When he says
You know what I
justice for
mean?
Junior, what happened was there was a 15-year-old kid in the bodega, and like if the video shows like a group of people, like a gang, basically.
Did this happen in
gathering-
Pittsburgh?
Nah,
No,
Bronx.
No, listen.
Oh.
It happened in the Bronx. It was like a group of like a gang like gathering outside the bodega first, and then they kind of just rushed in there, and then they grabbed this kid, and there was mad people in the bodega, like mad grown people in the bodega just watching the shit, and they pulled him outside of the bodega.
And stabbing
As soon as
him.
they pulled him outside of the bodega, like 4 or 5 people just started stabbing him.
Was he black?
All of them stabbing. No, he's Spanish. And then they ran away, and the kid's like on the sidewalk, like bleeding out. Like first he's like gets up, tries to like walk around, then he just collapsed, bleeding out, and he passed. And then like recently the gang came out and said that they apologized to the family, they had the wrong person, but like that still doesn't make it right. Yeah, it was a mistaken identity, and they meant to do it to someone else. But what the?
But
That's tough,
that
man.
just goes to show you, like, look at the time we live in right now, man. Like,
it's definitely a tough
even
time.
to a celebrity.
How does
to,
that
like,
get on the internet though?
And that's the thing, like the internet, people put whatever on the fucking internet
Like Justice
too.
for Junior, yeah, get that on the internet hashtag. How does a video of him actually dying, like the video,
And everybody
someone
has it.
pulls out their phone and they're really recording this kid bleeding out? Like just think about it. Who's that person that you pull out your phone? You're gonna call 911,
Like, how do you
right?
feel? Like,
You call 911, you pull out
look-
your phone. Nowadays, kids they pull out their shit and they record. They get viral and they be like, now
Yeah,
my shit
it's-
blowing up.
It's crazy, man. Like common sense ain't that common.
yeah,
The
man.
reason, and right before we get off this XXX topic, the reason I asked is there like a likeness to Tupac, because there's already rumors that even though the authorities confirmed that he was dead, but they're saying that he's still alive, and because he
I
has an
hate
album
that.
coming out
No,
called
he
No
was dead.
Pulse.
No,
Any truth to that? Or that's
Nah,
just
man, not
smoke?
at all, man.
that's just
Yeah.
This shit
that
is real
pisses me
life,
off,
man.
too.
And
I mean,
this
if
this
you
just
were
comes to
if you
show.
were to play with that, that's
Yeah,
Maybe
man.
try that.
And it's
I
tough,
forgot that
man.
shit's called. Nah,
It
fuck
shows
that.
also, man, because like a lot of these rappers, man, a lot of these people, like at the end of the day, they're entertainers and they're telling a story. Where it's, you know, when it comes to hip hop, the story that a lot of these people
Violent.
are selling is a very violent sell. Where it's, you know, it comes to show you, man, this little kid, man, is, you know, for something like that, for him to get killed in cold blood like that, it makes you think a lot of these rappers like Tekashi 6ix9ine and a lot of these, you know, Lil Pump, you know, a lot of things that they're saying inside their raps and the way that they're carrying themselves, man. Where
You
it's
think
like,
that they took it serious? I don't mean to keep going, but the other rappers, I don't think so. I think that they got on social media with the wave and it was like rest in peace X, and they said all this other bullshit. But I think in 2 months they're gonna pick it back up.
I just hope this brings just some awareness to people, just being real and just
being yourself, right?
yeah.
In a sense, and not riding the wave necessarily. Rest in peace.
Right.
Moving forward, though, I feel like weekly, or I definitely don't want to talk about.
Oh,
this dude
but the
alive.
one thing I do want to say on that though, they did say that they did arrest someone that was suspected to be his
Yes,
killer.
they did.
They
So,
did. I did
so,
peep that as well.
yeah, so we'll see.
But yeah, I feel like weekly,
Rest in peace X.
definitely, that we should have like a segment called "What He Do Now," sponsored by the Trump administration. And it's like funny when you think about it, but it's so sad what's going on now with the border patrol. That there's families being. Let me just pose a question to you guys. Actually, with his zero tolerance policy, there's been over 2,000 families that have been separated in the past 2 months due to parents being immigrants, but the kids were still born in the States, but the parents are immigrants. 2,000 families have been separated. How do you guys explain this screw up essentially? And it's like, what next?
Man, fuck that shit. Fuck Trump. It's just, it's not surprised. Nowadays, it's just like the Trump stories, to tell you the truth. I'm not surprised at anything he does.
Should it be pushed to the side like that, though?
No, I'm not pushing it to the side. It's just like what he does doesn't surprise me. It's just,
Absolutely.
It's just like it hits mainstream, it hits media, and then we're like, God damn, like this is not what's going on. What did surprise me though, not even to not answer your question yet, but what did surprise me is when Melania went to visit them, and she wore that
I don't care jacket.
I don't care jacket. And even though it's 2018, they're just gonna be like, it's just a jacket. Nah, it's fucking 2018. A jacket means something. So the jacket
camps.
On the back of the green jacket, she went to go visit the Texas border and see the camps. On the back of the jacket, it said, "I don't really care." I think it said something else after that too.
I didn't. I just saw like.
I know it said I don't, and it said it like clearly visible. The jacket said,
That's
"I don't really
disrespectful
care."
enough.
Word.
These kids are.
Exactly, it's all about appearance. You make
And like
make
they
your
know the
impression.
image, man. Like they do everything down to detail.
Yeah.
So you told me there wasn't one person inside the administration like, yo, the back of your
That's a
shirt
bad
says
idea.
I
I
don't
wouldn't
care,
wear
and
that.
it's not a bad idea.
It's the same thing when the fucking
that.
guy took the toilet paper shit and was shooting it in the crowd. Like there's yo these.
That's
They don't.
so, like, they don't take it
They don't take it
serious.
serious.
Joke to them.
It's a joke to them, and like that's just a scary position that we're in as a country.
And
where
like it's tough to me because like just like how you said, Phil, having a segment of what did he do now? And the thing is that like we're just allowing this to continuously happen. Like it's all right, new news comes out, he's doing something crazy, then a couple days pass, and then like we're on to the next. Where it's like, why aren't we doing anything to get this guy out of the presidency? Why are we just allowing this?
Just like overall, you know, like he does all this stuff. They don't really care about the people. They just care about themselves.
That's it.
And it's
just
it's blatant now. It's blatant now.
Lack
so
of care for other human beings.
now they're messing up children's lives, taking them away from their parents.
Not only that, they're putting them in detention centers, not even finding a solution to maybe if they have other families in the United States or maybe foster care. They're putting them in detention centers. And I can liken this back to World War II with the Japanese. They put them in internment camps. You don't do that to human beings. Like you don't separate them from their family.
Kids at that who need their parents.
They're gonna grow up
with
hatred,
missing with a void that the country did to them. You know what I mean? That the country hurt them with. So just to see that them not doing anything about it or shedding any light to it is not a surprise. But you know, we just gotta be more aware of like what's going on in our country, in our backyard.
And like what's tougher, like I was reading some articles as well where like they're telling these kids and these parents that, hey, we're gonna give your kid a bath, we're gonna bring them somewhere where they can get some food and water and stuff, and these kids aren't returning to the parents, which are crazy. Like
there's no
this is just
plan.
modern day slavery in 2018. Like they're just taking these kids away from their families,
Like,
and they're just blatantly lying to them.
What's weird is I understand, like, you enter the country illegally, you should enter the country the right way. Like,
Of course,
you should
we're
do
going
that.
by the law.
Okay, you should enter it the right way and become a citizen the right way. You shouldn't sneak into the country. That being said, though, if you do sneak into the country and you get caught, they shouldn't take the kid. And some of the kids are like they're separating the kids, like sending all over the place. Some of the kids are like I know in Long Island they're having like this rally in Huntington, but some of the kids are like in the Bronx and their family was like in Texas, and they're like moving them all over the place. There's no plan to reunite these kids. So you're taking like a 7-year-old kid, can't even like really remember a phone number or some shit, and then you expect them to be able to like find a way to contact their mother or their father.
But like by law, like
family.
a lot of these kids, even though the parents are illegal, I mean, if they're born here, those kids are legal citizens.
If they're born here, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
where it's like
There's a lot
some
of
of these
laws.
kids,
If you're born
some of these
here.
kids are legal citizens, and they're treating them
And
like
that's
slaves.
That's why it's bad, because the kids get moved somewhere across the country, and the parents are getting out of the country.
Now
and
think
it's
about these
kinda
kids'
crazy.
upbringings for time to come. They're gonna grow up
Hating.
with resentment towards the United States.
Word,
separating them
man.
from their
What morals
families.
are you trying to teach the kids
The-
that are for tomorrow, man?
The federal officials like Trump's camp, they recently passed some type of bill to reunify families. But with that being said, the parents won't be able to be reunited with their children until they pass like immigration proceedings or protocol. They have to go to court pretty much, and these proceedings can take anywhere from like 3 to 9 months to years to officially be taken care of. And you're separating kids from their parents. It just isn't right, and I don't think there's enough light being shed upon it. And there was public outrage towards it, and it's disgusting, to be honest.
That's sad. Yeah, it's bad.
Fuck down
It's
Trump.
2018. You shouldn't. At the end of the day,
Like
you
my
shouldn't
man
be
Robert
taking
Del
your kids
Nero.
Like YG
said.
said.
Trump.
YG said
away.
it
Shit
too.
is bad, bro.
Beezy, I'm excited for this. I didn't actually mention this in the intro, which I should have.
Yeah.
We have these meetings on Thursdays where we go over what the fuck we're gonna talk about. And
Yeah.
we usually have like, let's go with a certain segment that the audience usually likes, and that's usually like a bro code segment. And he was like, no, fuck that. This week, I got a question. And we was like, what do you mean? He was like, I got a question, but I don't want to say it now because it's going to ruin it. So I'm excited, though.
All right.
What are we doing?
Get it
Come
off
on,
your
Beezy.
chest, my guy.
Let's
Get it
get
off
it.
your chest, boy.
What are we doing?
All right. So welcome to BZ's question of the week. All right.
We need to get you like some
I
theme
need some
music.
background.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the theme music. Y'all gotta chill. I don't know
That-
what the
He
fuck
said,
that was.
welcome to Beezy's question.
Anyway. So
Do I want to be here?
sometimes during these podcasts, we'll have a segment where I'll ask a question. The other hosts will not know the question because we want to keep it natural, and I just want to see what people's temperature is on the kind of question. So this week,
Hold on. Explain it. How many questions you got?
it's one question of the day. Single.
Said it's singular. It ain't plural, nigga.
I say
Singular. It ain't plural, nigga. It's
just
one.
one question.
I
Just
must
one
admit,
question.
I wasn't really paying attention. My fault.
It's all good.
I wasn't really paying attention.
Say, yo, how many questions? Like, it's question of the day, nigga. It's only one question, nigga.
I wasn't great in English class.
So good, Papa. Anyway, this week, Jada Pinkett Smith visited Sway in the Morning. Did you guys, anybody see that interview?
Nah, I didn't. What's
Awesome.
up? Talk to
Even
me.
better.
I happened to
Even better.
miss it.
So, Jada Pinkett visited Sway in the Morning, and it got pretty interesting because this is what she said. I'm gonna play this in the room, and then I'll voice it over in the podcast so you guys.
And she and Will have their own relationship. She's gone on vacations with Will without me, with Trey. You know what I mean? Because I feel as though Trey needs to feel that dynamic between his two parents. That's very important, that he can feel that connection and feel, where they do meet, so that he can feel, that parental connection. I think that's important. And so
while you're married with Will, they've been on vacation together.
yes, they have.
Oh shit!
They actually just came off of one.
So what she's talking about is Will Smith's ex-wife. They have a kid together. His name is Trey. The kid is 26. But what she was saying is that Will and his ex-wife go on vacation together without Jada sometimes with the kid to kind of, I guess, have a whole family feel. So my question is, would you allow your girl, your wife, your significant other to go on vacation with their ex?
I think we live in a time now that things are much
With their
different.
ex, if they had a child with
With
them?
their ex to keep their whole the previous family feel together.
I think Phil, you should talk on this, man, because maybe this is
Let's
something that
keep-
you can play some heart.
I
Everybody
can't
Like,
I
let's say-
I can't really speak on it from experience, but I have a
keep it
son.
real, Deezy. Would you allow your girl to go on vacation with her ex-man if she had a baby with that man?
I would say no. But what I'm saying is that we live in a day and age now that things are different and people do different shit. I saw
Speak
this
for yourself. Speak for yourself. Why would you
Yes,
say no?
yes.
Why would I say
Just
no?
for yourself.
The reason why I would say no is I still live in old school tendencies. I don't want, like, if that's something that's your past, like, I don't want you going back to that. Like, even
Yes,
though
keep
that
it real.
you guys share a family, share a baby or whatever it may be, like, I'll allow you to go out and do family functions, a birthday party and all that, but going on vacation, like, whose bed are you sleeping in? You know what I mean? Like, that's the question that I'm asking. All right, so they're going on vacation together? Are they getting separate rooms?
What about you, Pons? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a little old school too. I would kind of feel away too, but if she going on vacation with her ex, I'm going on vacation with my ex too, man. Fuck all of that. Or I'm going on vacation with some other bitch, or some other chick, I should say, excuse my language, but hell no, man. I ain't gonna be sitting at home knowing that she on the Cayman Islands with her ex there, right? It's all about. I feel like it's all about respect sometimes in a relationship. So like certain things, I feel like is disrespectful to the partner, and no matter what the situation is, like that's just a smack in the face of whoever you with. You know what I mean? Like, because the person wants you all to themselves, but if they know that you giving yourself to the other person, like, then what is the value
remember,
in that?
there's a kid involved, though.
With the kid involved, yes, that's a complete different thing. Like co-parenting, I know that's a big thing where you want to have both.
The kid is 26, though.
But the kid is an old ass kid now, son.
Why are you still going on?
My guy's not even under insurance anymore, son. He got his own insurance, B.
Yo, welcome to Hollywood.
You feel me?
Is he? What you think? Is he?
Speaking from like having a son.
Yeah.
I don't think if the mother of my child was with somebody else, I don't think he would want me to go on vacation with her and my son because of the relationship me and her had. I feel like boundaries would be crossed if I was on vacation with my ex. We got a baby together, you know what I'm saying? We are wherever we are, whether it be on a nice island or in Europe somewhere. Old times might be reminisced, drinking, things might happen. So I just know that somebody wouldn't want me to be on vacation with. So I don't think so. Speaking for myself, personally, I'm free thought. Like I'm accepting to a lot of things, and I put myself in other people's shoes. But that's where I would draw the line there. Like, you're not going on vacation with your ex because it's not happening. No.
All right, me too. Yo, kudos to Jada Pinkett Smith for being this open and allowing Will Smith to go on vacation.
You think Will's
he can jiggy with
it?
I keep it real myself though. I know myself.
I don't know, man.
I
He coming
am
back
not
to
that
Jada.
secure. I am nope. You go on vacation with your ex? No, we're going on vacation with your ex. Like,
Phil, you can be the most
trip.
secure dude in the world, but
give
it's
a
still
fuck.
like you can't put none past these.
Nah,
women
it's your
like
ex.
that.
You had something,
can't
but
put
She's
past
gonna
at the
do
same
something
time,
that you
though,
don't feel
At
comfortable
the same
with.
time,
like,
there's a kid involved. If he wasn't 26, and like you
Facts.
wanted to give him that feeling,
was
that parental
13.
feeling, it would make
But
sense.
like what? Yo, the dude can have his own family right
He
now.
don't give a
You
fuck.
feel me?
Yeah.
Like, he can literally have his own fam on vacation with him. Like,
Not everything has to be sexual though, but I think when the kid is over 21 years old, I don't think there's really any need to go on vacation with your ex for your kid, unless it's a huge family thing and everybody's going. I don't think there's a point.
he's just doing the Big Willie style. You heard?
Cool.
Know what I mean?
How y'all like my segment?
I like that.
That was
I like that.
interesting.
Yeah,
that
was a good
funny.
question.
That was
Good
a
question. Good question. Good
nice
question.
nice little curveball you threw in.
Yeah, that was a good one.
into
I
the
like
Dogs
that. I
Den
like that.
podcast.
Mondi got some albums. I'm sorry.
They just put me on the spot, but
This
this past month, there's been a lot of fire that dropped, like different music from different artists. You know, good music been on their campaign, Good Fridays. You know, from the installments from Kanye. Like, nonetheless, all the crazy shit Kanye's been saying, this guy's on some shit. He produced like 35 tracks, I believe, so far for the summer for those 4 or 5 albums, and you know, it's great work. Like, I'm not a big fan of his album specifically, but I think it sounds really good. Like, the sound is really good on the album. Not really saying anything lyrically, but you know, there's just a lot of music to choose from. Me, I'll start off. I'm really rocking with Pusha T's album Daytona. Mm-hmm. I'm rocking with J Rock's joint. J Rock got some fire out right now, and definitely, you know, Hov and Beyonce's shit is fire too.
You listen to the Carters?
I did listen to the car. They got some tracks I would suggest that for y'all to listen to. But what you guys listen to right now?
Well, I'll definitely say, you know, with everything with Kanye leading up to these albums, everyone's thinking he was crazy and all the thing in turmoil he was going through. But is listening to all the albums that he produced, I'm definitely impressed by him and the body of work that he put into. Where, you know, I think he's half crazy. But as far as the ones that I like, I've definitely been rocking out to the Nas. There's a couple tracks on the Nas I like. The Ye, I actually do like the Ye. There's some tracks on there that I like. But Pusha T, I would say, is probably the best out of all the ones that Kanye's produced, and that's probably the one that I listen to the most.
You listen to Cudi?
Nah, I'm not really a Kid Cudi fan.
I downloaded it. It's him and Kanye, right?
Yeah.
I downloaded
Cudi
it and then
is my
deleted
guy.
it.
Yeah,
Damn, nigga.
Like I haven't.
It couldn't even stay on the phone.
Nah, because I was like, I gotta delete the Ye joint too, to be honest. Because like I listened to it, I was on a little stroll walk with young Mav, and I'm like, let me give this album a listen since I have time. 7 tracks, and he had a few like catchy sayings on it, but I don't ever see myself really listening to it. I didn't get a chance to listen to the Carters yet. I heard Ape Shit, which is type fire.
Yeah, Black
I haven't
Effect
listened to like J Rock. He was recently on the Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, yep.
And go ahead. Oh, all right. So J
Rock was just on the Breakfast
J
Club.
Rock was just on the Breakfast Club, and they played a track with him and Kendrick on it that was type fire. That was hard, and I want to check his joint out. I haven't really listened to much. I've been
I downloaded it yesterday. I haven't listened to it yet.
Fire.
I've been listening to Lil Baby a lot.
J Rock is fire. But
I listen to all this ratchet shit.
Yeah,
I've been on the ratchet.
Lil Baby.
Lil Baby. I've been rocking with Lil Baby heavy too, though.
I'm
Like
on the
his-
Little
Definitely.
Baby shit, the Gunna shit. My boy Key Glock.
Lil Baby and Gunna is
yeah.
definitely
About it.
2 new rappers I've definitely
Beezy
been
got
rocking
us
to a
into the
lot.
streets. He know what all the little niggas listen to.
Show me and
You out here in the
Iz just
street,
be
you?
sending each other shit like, yo,
Like,
this shit fire.
Peep
This
this
shit
shit.
fire.
Peep this shit.
A lot of ratchet shit coming from me.
A lot of fire. Juneteenth. Crickets. Exactly. What is that?
From all my African Americans.
Why don't we celebrate it, and to kind of verse our audience on what Juneteenth is? Before I even do that, we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. We celebrate Independence Day for America. July 4th, we celebrate St. Patty's Day. We celebrate our own country's independence. Why don't we celebrate the emancipation of African Americans in the United States, June 19th, 1865?
Yeah, easy for that because slavery has always been viewed as America's black eye. So America has done the most to not really to kind of like try
Brush it
and
under the rug.
distance. I want to say some people would say brush it under the rug.
In-
I would say
in the South, they don't talk
kinda
about the Civil
They
War.
don't want to talk about
They don't
it.
talk
It's
about
their
it.
ugly duckling. They hate the fact that they had slavery. So anything that where it's like Juneteenth, where we're celebrating when everybody find out they're finally free, they don't want to be really, I guess, celebrate that as a national holiday because it reminds you of how ugly American used to be.
Or American
Right.
how ugly American history is.
But
and
isn't
period.
that the same thing? I hear exactly what you're saying. But isn't that the same thing with Independence Day,
Absolute. Well, Independence Day.
July 4th? Because we were
Independence
colonized
Day,
by the
it
British.
looks like America was like, all right, we're standing up now. We're freeing ourselves
Correct.
from them. We're
Correct.
strong. We're America. The Juneteenth is like we did this ugly thing for all these years, and these people were free, but then they finally found out they were free on Juneteenth, and then yeah, it's just
Because
like a
going to that,
reminder.
because
It's just a
Abe
reminder.
Lincoln passed the Emancipation Proclamation 2 years before that in
Slaves
1863.
they didn't know that they were free after that.
And the
passed.
13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, was 6 months before Juneteenth.
So what would happen is that someone would literally, just good people out of their good nature, they'd go down south and they would visit these slave plantations that are still going on. And they would literally walk up to the plantation and say, hey, this is what it is. You guys are free.
It were Union soldiers.
Exactly. So they would visit
Travel
all
to
this and then
Confederate South.
finally, I think the last place was in Texas.
Yep. They were the
and
last ones to find out they were
They
free.
went to Texas and then they
Galveston, Texas.
basically told them, hey, you guys are all free. And that's what it is. It's really a holiday. I mean,
It is. There's
I know my
there's
company had like
parades.
my company had a
New
whole
York had
Juneteenth
one,
party.
Philadelphia had one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we-
it really
we-
should be more bigger than it is.
So
Really
I
should.
think the biggest problem with Juneteenth is based upon the people of our people. We got to do more. We got to do more to shed awareness to it because at the same point as all the other holidays, you're gonna see mad niggas lined up at St. Patty's Day.
Cinco de Mayo.
At Cinco de
absolutely.
Mayo.
Turned up.
You know, so we had to do the same support when it
We
comes to
gotta put that same
Juneteenth, and we
energy.
gotta put that same energy in. So it's more about spreading awareness, educating the people, and them know
100%.
like what's going on because Juneteenth is something that not everyone's aware of. You know what I mean? Like we bring it up, and people be like, "Yo, what is that
Yeah,
exactly?"
what is
Like
Juneteenth?
And
that.
think about it, like we weren't taught that in high school.
Yeah, no, of course they won't
John
teach
Glenn-
you.
John Glenn
Of course
tell
they
us
won't
shit
teach you
about
that.
Juneteenth.
Of course they won't teach you that, and there's so. Yeah, there's so much that they don't put in the textbook that should be in the textbooks.
There's
You
a
know,
lot of
like
shit that's weird. In
they are programming how we should grow up thinking
Programming our
to like
minds.
how we should think about the country and shit. But
Word.
something like this, having Black Panther this year, giving people that, you know what I meant.
Wakanda.
Nah, but
Never.
yo, he's ready to go, son. This guy is antsy over here.
Yo, we haven't shot it so long, man.
I know.
It's just-
But
Burn the
minute,
all I'm saying is just like now we getting more awareness after
Yes,
Black Panther.
absolutely.
People was just on their
Black Power.
Black power, like just having that sense of pride for being black. So something like this should kind of pick up that momentum from that time and should just keep it moving.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
and I think you might have forgot about this, Phil, but I remember on Thursday when we had our meeting, you were like, "I'm gonna pose a question." So, in case you forgot, let me remind you.
Yeah, I might have forgot.
the fuck is
What?
that question?
What? How are y'all niggas gonna celebrate Juneteenth?
Oh yeah, that
What's
was
the
my
most
question.
Juneteenth shit you could do to celebrate us being free?
I went to Popeyes and bought out all the chicken, my nigga.
I think I bought out Popeyes for the
Bought
hood.
out all the chicken for an hour. Everybody that walked into Popeyes, we got free chicken.
Damn,
Dead ass true story.
you know, a perfect
It's the
way.
legend of CB.
I ain't say this how I celebrate. Actually, yo, somebody else goes.
Nah, the spotlight is on you.
Ah,
You
yeah,
let
what the
on
fuck you
that.
mean someone else
You
go?
let
Nah.
on with that.
You
Alright,
fucking with
so-
my airtime.
He
So-
bought the fwags.
All right, so the proper way to celebrate, Juneteenth. I ain't even gonna go into full deep.
My man is tiptoeing around whatever
Yeah, I'm
he's trying to
tiptoeing.
say. So
That
bad.
shit is-
You don't wanna
Let's
be the
go.
one.
Let
You
someone
don't
else go. Let someone else go.
I ain't trying to be that guy.
The FCC airwaves is speaking in the back
Yo,
of his
I
head.
ain't trying to go
What
down
about you?
like
Is
this, yo.
How you celebrating Juneteenth?
What you
Just
doing,
to put
man?
everybody on the spot.
How am I celebrating?
Got his nose
Juneteenth?
pierced. That's how you did it.
Yeet.
New
Listen.
Tyrese.
Ooh, Tyrese. He got the little loopy joint or he got the young
I
thug
need you
joint?
to
The
get
little,
the. I
Got the
need
little
you to get
steady-
the loopy thing.
I'm gonna get the. I just got my joint pierced. I'm gonna get the clear diamond stud in a couple weeks. Let my
Respect to
joint
you,
heal.
brother. Respect.
But what I'm doing is I'm going down to a ranch in Montana. I'm gonna call Becky,
Oh shit.
Shelby,
Shelby.
Rebecca.
Nicole.
I'm gonna call them all, and we're gonna have a little party to celebrate Juneteenth. That's how we gonna celebrate, baby. We got a month.
we should
and a
have a
day.
whole fucking year, my
We got
nigga.
literally, no. We got 29 days. 28
Yeah,
in
we got the
February
shortest month.
and June 19th. We got
Yeah.
28 days to celebrate.
DZ, how you celebrating Juneteenth? Black Power.
You gonna be on a ranch with me in Montana?
I might have to pull up to Montana.
Montana.
Pull up, Beezy.
Nah.
I might go to Jackson Hole. I'm gonna go to
ain't
Jackson
going.
Hole, Wyoming.
Wyoming.
I'm gonna go to Jackson Hole.
I'm gonna go to North Dakota.
I'm a stunt on someone else's expense. You feel me?
We at Little Rock.
Yeah, Little
We in-
Rock.
we in
That's the
Little
right
Rock.
way to celebrate. But nah, now honestly, I'm gonna have a cookout
Yeah, do that.
in a big white park. You know what I'm saying? The whitest community. I'm gonna find the whitest community, throw the biggest cookout.
Ku
You
Klux
know,
Klan.
We are in that motherfucker.
We gonna get turned out. I know y'all seen the videos of the women calling the
Hold
cops
on. Did you
on
see
the
the
lady.
new one?
Yeah, with the girl selling water. She's
Water,
like,
bro?
you don't
Oh
have a
my
permit to sell
God.
water here. You're illegally
you out
selling
your
water.
fucking
She
mind?
called the cops on
Are
a
you
little
out of your
girl.
mind?
To
Yeah.
celebrate Juneteenth by getting somebody to smack the shit out of her. That's what we gonna
Alright.
do. Not me.
This is wild. Not me either.
Definitely, man. But the big thing to take from this is just spreading awareness, though, man.
Facts.
We got to make sure that each of us spreads awareness and just tells another person so they understand about this day, so we can push it forward.
Facts.
For all our listeners, quick promos, Divvy, Divide Electronically, the newest restaurant bill splitting app on the market. Get the best deals out at your favorite restaurants. And for restaurant owners, when you guys listen to this, efficiency, enhancing your dining experience,
Shout out to our sponsor, Divvy.
why not?
Yes, sir.
Word, man. Solving all too common problems that we all face whenever we go and dine.
Fellas, we finally got a sponsor.
Got a
That's
sponsor.
big.
It's big time, big
That's
time.
big.
We'll,
Chit, chit.
You got a sponsor.
we'll send the deposit in about a month.
Check ain't clear yet, but we're still waiting. But for all my hoop of listeners out there, we doing a big tournament for a good cause, charity tournament called the Give Back Tournament, shedding light to all nonprofits that are impacting urban communities. So come out, play ball, network. It's gonna be at Brooklyn Bridge Park, July 14th. You could check my IG for some more information. Click link in the bio, or check WeWork's website for more information.
What time as well? What time?
It's from 10 to 4, July 14th, Brooklyn Bridge Park.
Heard that.
Nice.
Get the teams up. What is it? What's going on there to give back?
The Give Back Tournament, we're pretty much just playing for a purpose. So
3-on-3 joint?
3-on-3 tournament. All teams playing are representing a charity. Team that wins, they win the pot for that charity actually. So it's actually gonna be a competitive time. We should have some good organizations coming out. Facebook got a team, Bloomberg got a team. So it's gonna be a good big event.
Big shout out.
So come out.
Big shout out.
Gotta be at that joint.
Yes, sir.
Hey man,
You can sign up on the link in my website on IG, PMONDS, PMONDS. I spell that right?
I think so.
Like
I think so.
We can run
But
that.
If he didn't, I'll just put it over.
yeah, you might have to edit that, beast. But the registration link is in my bio. It's $50 a person for entry. All money raised will go to charity. So do something good.
And then I also got one more for the listeners, man. Next weekend, next Saturday at our high school, where we're holding the second football camp.
High school? What high school?
John Glenn High School. So Playmaker Factory 2018 Skills Camp. So it's gonna be hosted by Trevor Costin and Fonnie Moma. You know, Fonnie Moma's with the Arizona Cardinals, but it's gonna be for all.
Boy. Nice job. Stand up.
But from so ages 6 to 12 and 13 to 16 next weekend. All Elwood students are actually free. Any non-student, it's only $10. And you know, it's gonna be a good day for those kids to honestly just have a role model and a figure, and and also learn a lot about football. Gain some skills and some knowledge.
I wish I went to one of those.
So anybody that wants to register, you guys can hit up the playmakerfactory.com to register. Or obviously, most of our listeners are probably gonna be John Glenn native. So you guys have any little cousins or that wanna run around one day, definitely bring them next Saturday.
Dope.
Heard that.
Five.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there anything before we
Nah, man,
get
I'm
up out of
busy
here?
as fuck, man. I don't got shit going on. I'm chilling right now.
Shot by
I
Cal.
just working. Shot by Cal.
My man got a new job. I
got a new job.
We need some sound effects. Man.
You don't gotta do the sound effect. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the sound effect.
I'm new to this shit, and that's the beautiful
I'ma edit
authenticity
it in.
of podcasting.
Yeah, no. New job. I'm employed, fellas. I was in a dark deep hole. Not employed, but now I'm employed now. So
My son wasn't collecting no checks, baby.
Connecting them.
I'm too busy to talk to y'all now. All right, so
Yeah, now you got a
you gotta
job.
make time. You gotta send me an email. I'm gonna get my assistant to respond. What y'all doing for the rest of the day, though? Yo,
One last time.
hey, fellas. Yeah, I do. All right.
I've been.
Her name is Alexa.
This man been ducking me for about 2 weeks. We've been trying to get
Who?
some edits done. You got a job now. You switched up.
I'm
You
busy,
all
man.
bougie.
Yo, look, I'm a busy man now, all right? I can't hang out
My
with
son
you that
said
much
his
no more.
calendar's always filled, B.
All right? Yeah,
Always
look,
booked.
Always
One
booked,
last
boy.
time.
I'm one weekend, bro.
For the millions.
Millions.
And millions.
Wait, I don't want to cut you. What y'all doing for the rest of the day? Because
I'm
y'all
about to
trying
go
to
hit
get
up
this
this
on my
Rasta
story, you fucking
pasta here.
Yo,
Power 105
what you doing
one.
for the rest of the day, my guy?
Some free promo.
What you doing for the rest of the day, my guy?
We should have cut.
yeah, man.
Hey, Cal, why don't you tell the
My
listeners
day-
what you doing for the rest of
It's
the
all
day? What you doing after this, Cal?
I ain't worried about it. Shit.
Where you
All right,
going?
yo, so
Where you going,
Where
bro?
we at today?
Where you going,
Dogs
bruh?
Them Podcast, we out.
We are
Nah, I'm
live.
kidding. No, yeah, it's weird. It's not weird.
Whoa.
It's not weird. Y'all making me feel weird.
Tell the listeners.
Be
Stop
you.
being around the bush.
My
Be you.
company is a new startup company. We're pretty prominent now, and today is June 24th.
Okay.
And if you know June 24th, it is what day, Randall?
It's June 24th. I don't know what today is. Can you please tell the listeners?
Drop that pass. Izzy, what is June 24th known for?
Being informed a couple of days ago by you, Calvin, it's National Pride Day.
You couldn't
So-
say that you knew it was National Pride
Nah,
Day.
I didn't know that, but big, big shout
Yeah,
out.
so
That's
June
that's
20.
major.
Yeah,
That's
June
major.
24th is National Pride Day.
That is major.
Where the city becomes flooded. We have a float
Who has a flow?
My company has a flow. I'm not gonna say
What is
my
your
company, nah, because
What's
I
your
don't want you to
promo?
look up my shit and figure out. Yeah, I don't do that.
No promo for the
Not gonna
company.
make. Nah, chill. I ain't getting paid
They
that
might
much.
sponsor. All right,
Alright, take it easy.
No free
But
promo.
we got a float.
No
we
free
got a
promo.
float. We got a float, and our float is gonna be running. They're gonna shut down some streets. I'm gonna be on the float. They got some famous guy. Some famous guy from this show. Some famous guy from this show. Oh man, it's called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I don't know. They're gonna be like marrying like 3 gay couples on the float, and it's gonna be like a crazy time. And
Catch Beezy on the float like this.
I'm everywhere.
I'm gonna be on the float.
He gonna be
Yeah,
vocal and
right.
shit.
So
Yo, we gonna see this
by the
dude with a
time
smelly.
The spirit gonna catch him. Beezy
By the
just gonna be
time-
standing still like, start moving. And shit.
BC, why your shirt so small? Pull it
by the
down,
time
son.
this
Calvin
podcast
10
come out,
At Calvi10, if you want to see some funny Instagram
Yo, check his
stories.
story. Yeah, everybody go check my man's story out today.
I'm a post, man.
Check my man's stories at
Check
the
my
parade.
man's story
Look,
today at the
I'm man
parade.
enough.
Parade.
I'm man enough. That shit don't bother me, bro. Like, I'll be on the float. I'll be on
That's
the
your baby
float.
bother him. That's your baby.
Holla out my people, my proud people. Hey, yo.
Copy.
Y'all keep doing y'all thing. And on my lesbians, I feel you. I like vagina too.
Yeah, man, I
So,
appreciate
and
that,
this shit don't
man.
bother me at all.
Nah, that's real.
Well, nah, it's
That's
cool.
real of you. That's mature
It's
and that's
cool.
growth.
Respect.
That's
That's
growth.
Word,
That's
word,
respect.
word,
That's
man.
growth, man. That's
Yeah, I
growth.
got,
Respect.
I got
Respect.
family members.
should be
that's a
good
part of
time.
that community
Yeah,
as well.
that's
So
growth.
it's all love at the end of the day. It's just all jokes.
All jokes.
And
All
please
jokes. All
understand
jokes.
that for our listeners who may have been offended by this quick little banter that we just had. It's all jokes. There's love is love at the end of the day. And maybe we should leave it on that note.
Yeah, man.
Dogs Them is out, here. This is DZ logging off.
Easy.
P Mons out.
I guess I'll let you close it out. This is P Izzy.
I got my own
The-
segment,
The
bro. I
Real
close
Phil
it out.
13.
Yo, yeah.
I got my own segment.
Please,
I
Queen.
close this shit
Do
out,
you,
right?
Queen? Do you, Queen?
Let's go, beloved.
Your boy Calvi, aka CB, aka BZ, signing out for the Dogs Them. Dogs Them, we out.
All right, cool, Carl.